and welcome. My name is Carlos Canejo, Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt. I am the CEO with Lean Six Sigma Specialists. Lean Six Sigma Specialists specializes in transforming organizations and taking them to the next level of excellence and profitability. And we do that through different ways. So we come in at the executive level, we work with the C suite, and we provide all kinds of assessments, emotional intelligence, change management, management of differences inventory. And you know that management of differences inventory works so great that this one time I was working for the Aerospace Corporation over in Chantilly, Virginia, right across the street from the NSA. And my audience for 3 days, and this was a leadership and an executive team training, were all PhDs. And of course, what do you think the first question was when I walked in? Where's your PhD from? And I was like, yeah, I don't have a PhD. Right. So they're like, all right, you're out of here. Totally lost my credibility. So they gave me a really hard time for a couple of days. So what I had to do was uh, create an environment where it got them working together. So the before picture was they had their chevrons and they had their little labs, because again, you walk down the hall and they have different labs segregated for different things. One's metallurgical lab, one's a physics lab, one's a rocket science lab, one's a electrical engineer and aerospace, and again, they're used to their little silos. So I came early the next day and I put the table together, and they were, whoa, rock their world. What is this? We've never worked together like this before. And I was like, yeah, no kidding. So that was able to get them dialoguing. And then when I facilitated the management of differences inventory, I had a line, and they all said the same thing. Well, I was dubious at first, but that's 95% pretty accurate. What do I need to do? And what's really interesting about that and how that relates to today is that if you're thinking that engaging employees is about them, think again, right? It's really about us. It's really about how we change, and we change our communication. We change how we support. We change how we coach. And every single problem that we have with employees is not a problem, folks. It is a coaching opportunity. And it gives us an opportunity to help that person grow and develop. And again, we have to do that in order for everyone to succeed, our organization to succeed. There's a saying, two loaves of bread under either arm, and they want more. And what that means is that, again, we have such valuable commodities with our employees. Why mistreat them? Why not take advantage of what they know? And the newest person on our payroll knows something the rest of us don't know. We just need to find out what that is. So one of the things that I did and I hope you took advantage of it, was that I sent you all this other assessment that I like. It's called the Team Trust Assessment. And what this helps us understand is how we are getting along, but more importantly, it helps us to identify areas where we're doing well, and also areas where maybe we have an opportunity to get a little bit better. Now, the thing that I like about this instrument is that it's short, it's to the point, but it helps us identify these major themes about esteem. And so again, every encounter that we have with our folks, do we respect them for their color, their gender, their age, their experience, their gender identity, whether or not, we agree with LGBTQ? It does not matter. So again, what is that person as a person? And so we need to keep their esteem so that they keep their dignity. We also have to be empathetic with their particular situation and see how we are able to help them out. to get them more involved in sharing. So both sides share so that both sides are building bridges, not only to communication, but building bridges to move the ball forward on the leading edge versus the trailing edge. Because by the time we take a look and the problem has happened, now we have to react, it's too late. It's too late. So we want to anticipate and be ahead of that curve, so to speak, and provide the necessary support, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's training, whether it's buddy system, whether it's job sharing, whatever. That's what this assessment is all about. Now, here's where the Six Sigma portion of this instrument comes along. How many of you are familiar with what's called a force field analysis? Okay, let me ask that question backwards. How many of you are familiar with a cost benefit analysis? It's the same thing. Okay, so a force field analysis, which is what the instrument is called, is an instrument that tells us what are those factors that are moving us in the right direction, taking us to the desired state. And we give them fancy names like force field analysis or failure mode and effect analysis or Pareto or Ishikawa. But again, these are all cause and effect type of tools that help us not identify what's going on, but identify likely suspects that then we have to do some heavy lifting and go out to Gemba. Genshi Genbutsu is the Japanese term, which means go and see, and start collecting data so that we can then find the root cause of what's going on. But in this case, our force field analysis is identifying under all the ones or all the twos, those are all the factors that are taking us away from the behaviors that we want in order to engage employees. The fours and the fives, those are all the factors that are taking us towards the desired state. So if you took this one here, again, really, it doesn't matter, what your results were. What matters is that as you categorize each of the ones and twos, and you go, wow, we have a lot to relate to esteem. Maybe we don't treat people well around here. Wow, there's a lot that have to do with support. Maybe we have to support our people a little bit more. The same thing on the fours and fives. So with those two, if your support piece is high or category on some of those, then that means you're doing a good job. Keep doing more of that. You see? So again, what you're doing well, fours and fives, do more of. See how you can turn the fours into a fives. Well, what about the three? Well, with the three, a lot of times we hear, well, that's the neutral. Okay. In the statistics world, because this type of test is 95% statistically significant, which means that you can believe 95% of the time it's going to be pretty true. Okay. That's the probability of it. So the threes are not neutral. We call that your springboards. So what you want to do is go down your three column and you want to prioritize your three column, your top five, no more than five. And those are the ones you want to analyze how you want to get them to be a four. You see? So this is the great way to use this type of tool, a force field analysis, in order to create, again, some leading edge forward motion. Now, if we don't do this, then your employees are not going to be engaged. And engagement means that they are emotionally and intellectually connected to the organization, that they enjoy and believe that what they do is important and is adding value. And in lean, we have value-added activity versus non-value-added activity. Value-added activity are those things that the client is willing to pay us for. Non-value-added activity are all that busy work that we do, but really isn't moving the ball forward at all, you see? Or we're having to input things in our wonderful Excel spreadsheet or, ERP or MRP system. We're inputting data with a dead end. We're duplicating data. So again, why are we doing that? Or why are we creating scrap? You see, because we don't want to take time to improve the process, whether it's serving burgers, whether it's paying invoices, whether it's making satellites, it doesn't matter. These same principles work in any environment. And I've had the privilege of working in all kinds of fields. In fact, that's my niche, that I don't just concentrate in one field: healthcare, crops, insulin pumps, lotion, apparel, luxury, auto, whatever, it all applies. And yes, it does come from the Toyota production system, but this applies. Okay, so we want to make sure that we allow people to demonstrate passion and to own their process. And so by doing so, we need to empower folks to do things. Well, I can't trust them. I can't, let them make a mistake. Well, why not? How are we going to learn? So on this page, we have just a really quick view. If you're familiar with Ken Blanchard's situational leadership, this is the 4 quadrants of that situational leadership. So most people, unfortunately, get stuck directing people. That's telling them who, what, where, when, why, and how, right? And you're going to listen to me because I pay, I say. Well, that's okay if the situation needs to be expedited, or if it's an emergency situation, such as there's a fire in the building. You're not going to go to consensus. Gee, what do you think we should do? Should we evacuate? Right? No. Right? So that's when you direct. All right, everybody out. Meet at the mustering area. Go, move. All right. All right. So that's when you direct. And you direct also when the employee is new and the employee doesn't have the basis of knowledge. And so you want to, of course, help them. You want to demonstrate. You want to explain. You want to have them do. And you want to have them give you feedback. You want to then have them teach back to you so that you know that they're capturing that teaching moment. Now, as they progress, then we let the leash out a little bit more. And again, I'm not calling my employees dogs. I'm just saying we can relate to, again, that leash, right? That lets the little dog in and out, right? And so then we coach. We have that coaching opportunity. They are growing. They're understanding the concepts. They're pretty reliable, but they're not quite sure. So you want to be able to spin them and give them the self-confidence. Here's how you hold the bat. Yeah, here's how you enter that code. Yeah, here's how you use that QMS system. Yeah, this is the window. This is, you see? And so again, I got it. No, again, yes. And if people keep asking you questions, it is not their fault. That means that we need a policy and procedure, an SOP that people can follow. I have that QR code at the front of and the back of my slides. And if you shoot that with your camera, that will take you to our feedback page on my website. So please give us your email and tell us, what you want. That's where you can go and order products and let us know what products you want. And whether it's book or the placards or a download, give us your email there. But the point with a QR code is that a QR code can be scanned at your copy machine. So the people would scan it and it would tell them how to change the ink. You would go to a computer and you would scan the code, and it would then give you all kinds of different windows. It would give you the bill of materials. It would give you the blueprints. It would give you whatever using QR code. So if you're not using QR code, it's great. Out in the warehouse, same thing. Whether it's on the rack or on the floor, a QR code can give us a lot of information. And remember that we want to involve employees and support them, which would be the next one. And that's where the employee is pretty reliable and consistent. And so we give them the support that they need, whether it's time, whether it's money, whether it's training, whether it's development, whether it's a rotation so that they can learn and be able to be cross-trained. Everybody at your organization must have a number two. No single points of failure. If somebody goes on vacation, we don't want to bother them when they're on vacation. If they leave voluntarily, we don't want to be held hostage. So again, everybody at our organization must have a number two, and that's part of that support piece. Now, the last piece are the gold standard. And the gold standard, folks, then we facilitate. We let them boss us around. Hey, Carlos, I need this. Great. Let me get that for you. Hey, Emily, what's the problem of the day today? Oh, man, I'm having issues with this. Do you think that you can call accounting and let them release that? Yeah, I'll let them, I'll back you up. I'll let you know when, oh, great, thanks. I really appreciate that. You see? So again, you want to keep them in the driver's seat, but you want to be able to support them. Now, by doing so and fully engaging the employees, those organizations that fully engage their employees outperform their competitors by 147%. So, how's that for your bottom line for treating employees better and getting them more engaged? Organizations with highly engaged employees do have higher productivity, higher profitability, more satisfied customers, and fewer safety incidents, less absenteeism. How many of you guys are experiencing the Blue Monday or Blue Friday, right? Nobody comes in on Monday, nobody comes in on Friday. And if you're working in the hybrid world, get over the fact that your employees are working remotely and they are not being supervised. Oh my God. I hear this all the time. How do I know that they're being accountable? How do I know that they're working? Okay. The statistics say that employees working at home are actually 30% more productive. So put that bee in your bonnet. All right. Get over it. Leave the people alone. Now, the second part, other side of the mouth, is don't leave them alone. Okay. You want to include them because, again, they're working remotely. And so you want to be able to include them in meetings or maybe in team builders. So the other day I had a team builder for my team. And so I shipped them all a Hawaiian shirt, a lei, these ceramic Mai Tai glasses. And we actually had a Friday afternoon cocktail hour. And it was remotely. We had somebody in Canada, somebody in Wisconsin, somebody in Florida, somebody in Sacramento. And again, this was my way to include my team so that they don't feel neglected. And it was fun, and everybody's drinking whatever they drink. But again, way to involve them. Very important, because how do you feel if you're not treated well? How do you feel if you're not fully engaged at work? You see, and that's that empathy. And so you want to think about, okay, how would I feel if I were in this person's shoes? You see, that's what empathy means. And then how does either your support or lack of support affect their performance? And obviously, we want to improve that operational performance so that then we become world class. And by the way, if you're not familiar with lighthouse companies, Samsung would be a good example. Procter and Gamble would be a good example of a lighthouse company. And according to the World Economic Forum, lighthouse companies number very few. Only 165 companies in the entire world are lighthouse companies. And what these companies have in common is high employee engagement. They have high digital, or what we call fourth industrial revolution tools. They have Internet of Things. All the equipment is talking to each other. The copy machine will tell you, hey, I need my ink cartridge changed. You only have 2,000 pages left, so come on over. What? Oof. So again, lighthouse companies. Now the goal, thank goodness, is to bring in 10,000 companies over the next 10 years. And so again, US, We got to step up, become a lighthouse company. All right. So, what do employees really want? Since 1989, Gallup has been doing a study on this, and they have partnered with Harvard most recently as of 2010. And they found out that the four things that employees want are number one, respect. And we talked about that. Respect me for who I am, my experience, gender identity, whatever, right? So, ethnicity, of course, background, uh, married, not married, divorced, whatever. So, number two, involve me. Ask me my opinion. Involve me in meetings. Don't treat me like a mushroom. You know what that is, right? Keeping people in the dark and feeding them a load of shice, right? So don't do that. So again, keep your people involved. If you're not having daily huddles, have daily huddles, both in the office and on the production floor. No more than 15 minutes. Have them with purpose. Have quarterly state of the company, all hands, town hall meetings, whatever you want to call them. Get your people involved. Get your people involved in giving you ideas. Get your people involved in Kaizen events. So I recently did a Kaizen event on a big thermoform machine that makes plastic containers for Costco and some other companies. And so it used to take 4 hours to change from one mold to the next. And using the people's knowledge, mechanics and setup operators and operators that work there, even some people from the office, together in 1 week, guys, this was a 1 week Kaizen event, 5 days, we were able to reduce the setup by over 60%. So what that means to this organization is that now they can do more, they can run more products through there. So we just increased their capacity by 60%. All right. Did that with Victoria's Secret lotion on the same bottling line where they used to bottle 50 million bottles a year, same bottling line, same machine, now bottle over 90 million a year. So again, what didn't have to buy any machinery, same machinery. All right. Recognition, attaboy, attagirl. Hey, you know what, Emily? Thanks for coming to work today. What? Yeah, really, you're doing a great job. Your project management skills are terrific. The team is excited. The team likes working with you. Thank you. All right, got a little spring in my step now. And Emily, what did that take?
Yeah, not very long.
Right, not very long. And did it cost anything?
Nope.
No. And how does that make you feel?
Great.
See, right? Like you're appreciated.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
Exactly.
very important. And we talked about this here. And then finally, and by the way, millennials changed the number four. The number four piece used to be a living wage, but now millennials want a competitive compensation package with work-life balance. Yeah, I want remote work. You don't offer it, I ain't working with you. Or I want 410 plan, or I want, whatever plan it is. But again, we need to be flexible, and one size does not fit all. Now, the single highest rated driver of employee engagement is you. So again, if you're a positive person, if you're an encouraging person, if you talk and work with people rather than talk at people, or people work for you, you're going to be opening that door and they're going to be walking out that door and they're going to be giving you a really poor Glassdoor rating. So only about 40% of employees actually believe that their manager has their best interest in mind. So again, we got to work hard to prove that we do have their best interest in mind and not be so selfish. And unfortunately, with the way the corporate structure is set up with rewards, where the middle level or the higher levels are just, collecting tons of money, I can see why employees can think that way. So if you can figure out a way to share some of the pie, it's not a limited pie, folks. We're going to be making the pie bigger for everybody. All right. So think about that. 81% of engaged employees are likely to stay. Isn't that interesting? As opposed to 23% of those that don't. And folks, employee turnover rate positively impacts that bottom line. I've been working with a Fortune 10 company for the past 8 years, and at one of their Portland facilities, which is a facility of about 1,100 folks, we had a turnover of about 20%. And I was talking to the HR manager over there, and I don't care. We can get people a dime a dozen. People are lining up to get in here. Well, I saw why we were having such an issue with the turnover. So I went online and I did. And by the way, I welcome you guys to do it as well for your particular situation. Look for what's called a turnover calculator. In the turnover calculator, you basically put in the size of your company or division, and then you put in your percent. And then what came back was eye-popping $6.5 million. I know I started there because that was a big number, folks. So I showed that to her, and she was like, "Whoa, what do we need to do in order to reduce those?" And like, boom. So now she's ready to listen, you see. And so now we start taking a look at creating a roadmap strategically so that we're able to retain employees. Never mind recruit. We just want to retain what we have because, again, with your employees walking out the door, that is a huge, huge issue. And if they go to the competition, then that becomes an even bigger issue. Now, one of the other issues that is out there today, and especially if you're getting your organization ready for a merger and acquisition, and you want to lower your employee turnover, and you want to beef up what's called your governance. So your governance as part of your ESG ratings, or your environmental, your social, and your governance. So environmental and social mean, are you truly supporting worthwhile causes? Are you just greenwashing and saying that you are recycling things? And so again, going back to some of the packaging folks that I work with, it actually costs them more. And here we go. I will mention a name so that you know that they are serious about this. Trader Joe. Trader Joe actually pays more for their food packaging because they are using food packaging from vendors that recycle plastic bottles. So rather than the plastic bottles, right, going into the dump or going into our rivers, right, they're ground up and they're repurposed as food containers. All right. And studies show that ESG ratings are very strong with consumers, and 74% of consumers will actually pay more for your product if you are truly responsible and not greenwashing. And 94% of your customer base will stay with you because of ESG ratings. So, how important is that? And how important is that your company on the governance side is run by well-informed C-suite that is sensitive to engaging employees and treating employees fairly? And let me tell you, I used to work for Blue Cross of California. That's where I learned my skills from a small company called Deloitte and Touche. They were brought in as our consultants, helped me reorganize my department 3 times in 1 year. And this one time, I went out on a due diligence trip with the executive VP. Now, you have to understand that we have the CEO, then we have executive VP, senior VP, directors, and then there was me at the time. So that's how far from the nosebleed section I was, right? And we were meeting with the CEO of another uh, multi-billion-dollar organization. At the time, we were $46 billion. So here's an executive VP of a $46 billion a year company. We're having lunch with this other CEO, and he introduces me as, "This is Carlos. We work together," rather than "he works for me." Bing, 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 bing. You hear the difference? That's what I'm talking about. You see, and it's ever so subtle. But boy, I tell you what, when I heard that, that made me a loyalist for life with this man. And we've stayed in contact. We even started going to the same church. So just tells you something about leadership. All right. So 75% of employees quit. That's what the exit interview says, because of management that is not treating them well. And then again, the most common reason besides the manager is that there was no opportunity here for me. I was just kept in my little cubby hole. There was no training. I didn't know how things worked. I wasn't given the opportunity to grow. There's no career paths, clear career paths. You see? So here's a company that I work with back in the day, the glory days, we call them, that actually had a terrific, terrific career path. Has anybody heard of the restaurant Marie Callender's Pie Shops? So I was the consultant for Marie Callender's for 4 or 5 years back in the early 2000s. I helped them to develop their kitchen manual and actually even translate it into Spanish, and also help them create a lot of the roles and responsibilities. And one of the things that they had was the best practice for onboarding an employee that I have seen in 30 years. And didn't matter if you were a dishwasher onboarding, a bakery person, a grill person, a chef, a sous chef, whatever it was, everybody had their own personal onboarding calendar for the week. Okay, you're going to learn how to open the shop. You're going to learn how to close the shop. You're going to learn to work in the bakery. You're going to be host. You're going to make salad. You're going to make soup. You're going to serve. You're going to take out the trash. You're going to learn how to rotate the stock. What? You're going to learn about chemicals. And by the way, as you rotate, think about if this is something that you would like, because we have a career path here, and 42% of our general managers that run their own stores actually started out as dishwashers. What? You see? Rather than looking down at the poor lowly dishwasher. Different mindset, folks. Different glasses. Everybody has potential. Everybody has potential. We just need to tap that potential by treating people well, providing a positive work environment that's inclusive. And when employees feel valued and respected, they're going to give more. On the other side, those executives that aren't in tune are executives like one that contacted me the other day. Our employees aren't engaged. I want to give them a survey. That's not going to do it. It's part of it, and that's going to let you know how they feel about you. But what's causing them to feel that way, as we identify areas of communication, areas of teamwork, areas of problem solving, decision making? Never heard back. And that's okay. We need to give people that opportunity for growth, because as they grow, our organization grows. And think about this: as they grow, that gives you opportunity to move up. You see, because if you are the best lead person, best manager, best director, best VP, guess what? You're never going to move up because you're the best. So you got to tell people what I used to tell people when I used to train them. I used to say, Emily, you know what? I want to teach you how to do my job so well that eventually you can take over my job. What? You see? That makes me promotable, right?
Mhm.
Gives you upward mobility, right, Emily?
Yeah.
And that's what we want, you see? So business continuity. All right, employee engagers. We have daily metrics. We're doing well on time, folks. We're doing terrific on time. So we have some examples of some daily metrics boards, and Emily is going to highlight some daily dashboards that are digital dashboards in the QMS field. So that's going to be really exciting. We want to delegate responsibility. If you can't delegate, you got to delegate. You got to learn how to delegate. Well, I can do it faster myself. Yes, you can. But think about this. The 1 to 15 rule says that for every 1 hour or 1 minute you invest demonstrating, showing, telling, having the people practice in front of you, right? Getting feedback, having them teach back to you. And by the way, that's a technique called the extempore feedback. And my Fortune 10 company practice that as well. You're going to get 15 times return on investment. Let me let that soak in. And by the way, where do I get the statistics? From the California Economic Development Department. Okay. They pay or they subsidize employee training and development, blueprint reading, computers, Lean, Six Sigma, whatever, because it develops the economy, the California economy. And so they know that for their $100 million or whatever, they're going to get 15 times back in taxes, in growth, in making your organization, you see? So that's very important. All right. We want to encourage innovation and creativity. If it ain't broken, break it. Let's find out a new way to do it. If it takes 5 steps, let's do it in 2. I remember one contract where I worked with the design department at a next day flyer organization. And boy, I tell you what, it was so cumbersome and so ridiculous. Hi, we're going to send you an email to see if this proof is okay. If it's okay, approve it here. And by the way, we don't have that font, so let us know. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So our Kaizen event was on the computer. So we're going through and why do we need that? Why do we need that? Why don't we just, send them a font? Here's what we have. It's the closest one to you. Just click here if that's okay. Well, all right, let's do that. If their artwork is outside of the printing area, right? Let's just resize it and say, hey, we resized it. Boom, click here. Doesn't need to come back to the design area. If they approve it, goes to pre-press, straight ahead, goes in. Man, I tell you what, I think we 10x'd that company's income just by, again, Kaizening a computer system. So again, guys, this stuff works for anything, code. What does it take 10 lines of code when you can do 5 lines of code? You see? All right. We want to involve the employees in decision-making. We've talked about that several times. Growth opportunity, talked about that several times. And we want to cross-train and leverage cross-functional teams. So cross-functional teams are people from different departments working on one common goal and objective. So on Kaizen events, we'll have the people that do the work, the operators, we'll have maintenance, of course, we'll have engineering, of course, that supports us, but we'll have IT, we'll have HR, we'll have shipping and receiving. Well, why? Because we want those people to come in with fresh eyes. Because if you're doing a certain type of work, you're doing it all the time, this is the way you're seeing the world. We want people to ask us, hey, Emily, how come you do it that way? Hey, Emily, how come you're doing that twice? Hey, Emily, gosh, I didn't thought about that. That's a good idea. Well, what was your idea? Well, I think if you do this and this, I think, I hadn't thought about that. You see? Boom. Tap into that, folks. And also think about that some of your folks have worked elsewhere and have probably seen something similar to yours. So again, that person that's new knows something else the rest don't know. By the way, my good friend John Pache from Camelback Hydration Products, I did 7 projects for him down at his Otay Mesa million square foot facility. And one day we were sitting there and he's looking at me, shaking his head, and he's laughing. And I said, John, what are you laughing at? He says, man, he says, you're the ultimate recycler. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? He says, these solutions that you're providing for us. He says, these aren't customized. He says, you probably saw this somewhere else and you're applying it to our situation. Yeah. I said, yeah. You see, and that's the value that you get with a person that has seen best practices for over 30 years. So chances are I've probably seen that somewhere else and I can just transpose it to your particular situation. All right. So involving employees in lean daily management means getting them involved in the what's called the SQ dip. And the SQ dip is, we actually have them hand fill these signs. It's a 30-day sign. And you can do this, digitally, but the advantage for them to fill this in is that, again, hand to brain connection, and it gives them ownership. You see? So, and it gives them instantaneous look at what's going on in their area. And so if you had a great day, great. You circle in today's date is the 17th. So we make that green. So if it's an okay day, it's yellow. If it was a bad day, we had a near miss or we had an incident, it's red. And then we download and we talk about why it happened. And then we train people on not happening again. All right. Then down below that, we have really important information like how much revenue do we need to generate today? Did we hit it? How much product did we put out the line? Were we productive today? So we call that being above the line or below the line. Below the line means that at a recent place where I was at, we needed to ship 165,000 today. Well, guess what? We only shipped 130. So tomorrow we ship 165, right? Tomorrow we have to ship almost 200,000 to make up the difference between the 130 and the 165 we didn't hit today. What? Yeah. That's where we're going to hit our numbers. The daily number hits the weekly number. The weekly number hits the monthly revenue target. The monthly revenue target hits the quarter. We should not be surprised at the end of the quarter. Are we going to hit it? All right. Again, these metrics boards, that's what they're designed to do, and to get your folks involved and working on the solution on a daily basis with the least amount of supervision. And in fact, in the Toyota production system, there's very little supervision needed on the floor because the operators are running the show. That's what you want to get to, you see? All right. And then down here is the UTCM, the urgent and temporary countermeasure sheet, which is this one here, up above, upper right. And that empowers your operator to fix things on the fly. Oh, well, you can't do that. Policies and procedures. Well, okay, you got to follow your QMS again. But if they don't hurt themselves, if they stay in spec, if they don't hurt the product, let them do the workaround. 90 to 95% of employees want to do a good job. So give them the permission. You see, at one place, the CEO had these permission cards on his desk. And if you were going to do something, you just came in, you wrote your name, and you said, hey, I encountered this. This is what I did about it. So at the end of the day, you walk around with his permission cards and, hey, Emily, hey, Sally, hey, Joe, how's it coming along? You see? So now, rather than stopping the process, let's at least work with the process, because sometimes the computer is slow. Sometimes, people are doing stupid things in the office, like paying payroll during the week rather than on the weekend. So it slows everybody's computer down. Sorry, guys. All right. Come in on the weekend. IT is going through a new version. Come in on the weekend. All right. I don't want to have you slow me down during the week. Please don't do that. All right. That dreaded wheel of doom is taking a minute to load. Multiply it times 100 people. That's 100 minutes. It's over 2 hours wasted waiting for the dreaded circle of doom. Are you see? Don't do that. All right. Then we have some other things in here, some other metrics that the people complete. Then we have what we call, we like this guy, we call them the PPE thug. Okay. And the PPE thug actually, if we need PPEs in the area, tells us, what kind of PPE we need. And he's kind of a defect concentration diagram himself. We also have this in the female version, but again, make sure that the people are wearing proper PPEs. All right, here's a closer look at that UTCM sheet, the urgent temporary countermeasure, and the people enter the date, again, the area, what was the issue, what they did to fix it, and then did we drive it towards root cause analysis? And so down here, we have the different stages of root cause analysis, been started, a little bit of progress, more progress, complete. So these little bubbles, again, are all manual. You could do it digitally, but there's a secret to getting people involved with a hand-eye coordination so that you engage employees and you unlock the power of the employee, not only just tracking, but also keeping a leading edge and being proactive rather than reactive. You see? All right, good. All right, and then this is what it looks like, another view of it. And here's the UTCMs, and we have 2 shifts over here. Okay, this particular company, by the way, I implemented, remember I told you I saw best practices or whatever. So one of the best practices that I implemented here that I had implemented at this pool products manufacturer here in my town was that I saw a injection mold operator that was making the rubber casing for the pool light, turn the pool light, you can see. And so after pushing the button, he would sit there. Yet, across the aisle, literally across the aisle, there was an assembly cell that was making the wire harness to connect to his particular part. So I said, hey, Maria, how hard is that to do? And she's like, oh, no, show me how to do whatever. I said, do you think you can teach Jose how to do that? So she's like, I guess. So grabbed the cart. I literally moved it across the aisle. I said, hey, Jose, Maria's going to teach you how to make a wire harness. Oh. And of course, at first he resisted, right? So 2 weeks later, I came back. Guess what was in his area? Wire harnesses, you see? So we basically got free labor while he was waiting 5 minutes for the machine to cycle. So the tie-in with this particular company is that I saw the same thing. So what we did at this company, we brought in packaging from the shipping area. So now, as the guys are waiting for the machine, they're actually stuffing parts in plastic bags. They're sealing them. They're labeling them. They're casing them. All right. Take a look at, I did this at Oakley glasses too, in their coating area. Right. So basically there was an hour and a half cycle time for the coating for our lenses. And I put a little clock, the digital clock, counting backwards from 90. And basically said to the folks, okay, guys, you got 90 seconds, fire drill to the next load. So you got 90 seconds to get the next load ready. So you swap out, swap in. Boom. You see, keep that flow going. And they had fun. And Jose and then the other guys, they said, man, thank you so much. This has really helped us to, have the day go by faster. By the way, you don't believe me? Believe Toyota. Toyota got rid of their lug nut department. Well, wait a minute. They make cars. Don't you need lug nuts for, same concept. Each department has a lug nut machine now. So if you're waiting any kind of waiting for changeover, you're waiting for operator, you're waiting for management, whatever. Guess what? Go make lug nuts. Free part. Free. Okay, got to be creative. Way to engage the employees. All right. Now we start getting into some of the metrics and some of the, what do you call it? It's the digital metrics. And then this is our defect concentration diagram. That's another tool so that we can start tracking injuries. But I want to give Emily some time. So, Emily, you got about 12 minutes, which I think should be plenty of time for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
All right. So,
definitely.
Emily, take it away on the digital scoreboards.
Perfect. Thank you. So Isolocity is a quality management software. So our main focus is to eliminate the paper from quality compliance. So one of our co-founders was an auditor, and he found that the hardest part that some of his clients were having was managing these paper-based systems. So that's kind of where the idea of the software was formed, streamlining these processes and allowing for different features and customization that can be used to fit different workflows in different industries and for different businesses to make sure that they have an easy to use system instead of rifling through paper to find the data that they need. So why Isolocity? So like I mentioned, we have a lot of different features that can be used in your toolkit. We have a dashboard with KPI metrics. We have different graphs and reporting that at a glance you can see that's built upon from the data entered into your system. We have automation toolkits that we provide to you, so you don't have to set that up yourself. It's all within the system and it will take care of that for you. And our support team, we have excellent support. It's one of the things that we pride ourselves on, and you can see that reflected in our reviews on G2 and Capterra. We really want to make sure that our clients are successful with the software and really streamlining their processes and ironing out any of those pain points in their facilities. And our system is inexpensive and easy to use. We have flexible plans with free level employee users that you can take advantage of. So you can get started with as little as $159 a month if needed.
Get out. Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So where our pricing is competitive. And if you don't mind just switching to the next slide.
Of course, my pleasure.
Thank you. Yeah. So this details some of the different modules that we have. So we offer a full suite that will contain document management, training management, CAPA management, so things like for your corrective actions, non-conformance reports, etc. And then we also have batch records. So that would include your product inspections, so producing your product, any receiving inspections, any activities that get done within your facility. So digitizing some of those different logs, for example, your sanitation logs, any other processes as well. And then we have an inventory module so you can keep track of the product that's being produced or shipped out to customers or being received in your facility. And like I mentioned, anytime you use the system, it's all going to take advantage of the automation setup to drive the other modules. So taking out some of that extra work that is involved in maintaining your quality management software. So, and you can plug in your compliance standards, your Six Sigma initiatives, and make sure that's all built into your quality management software as well. So still helping with all of that as well, which is great. And then we work with various different industries from pharma to traditional manufacturing companies. So really this toolkit can be used in a wide variety of businesses as well. It's not specific to one, which is also really great. Yeah.
Now, what about integrating with existing ERPs or MRPs? How easy is it?
Yeah, so we have existing integrations available with some ERP softwares already. And we also have open APIs. So at any
That's
point, you
great.
can also easily integrate yourself if you have a tech team, or ours can help as well. We've worked through integrations with QAD, some cannabis related ERP systems, and we're always expanding on that list. So again, you can take advantage of these integrations and have your systems all communicate and talk with one another instead of having to complete duplicate entries as well. So thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, that's also a
Yeah,
great
yeah, no, that's
way to
terrific.
tie
Yeah,
everything in.
that's terrific. Now you see Emily's LinkedIn link there. So each of you should have uh, the today's presentation. Plus, I implemented a new feature, which is that after today's session, you'll probably get a button to download it locally at your computer. And so you'll be able to refer back to it anytime. So, and I think that we'll probably may or may not play it again as an encore later on, because again, there was a lot of great information today, right?
Definitely. Yes.
All right, good. So we come to the end of the lollipop. We're almost out of time. We got about 3 minutes left. Again, scan the QR code. The QR code will take you to our website, where again, you can take a look at purchasing my book, Supervisor and Manager's Playbook. This is a great, great resource for you if you want to truly engage your employees more. And some of the topics in here is obviously employee values, their needs, their expectations. What's a supervisor's real job? Growing and measuring top performers. How to coach different levels of employees. Effective leadership, performance management, effective delegating and time management. How to make good decisions and how to be a participative manager. And finally, how to motivate and reward employees. So this has been a really great book. And then I do list a lot of different types of, even how to make a Pareto chart. Something simple as that. If you haven't done it, it's 3 clicks on Excel, and a lot of people don't know that. All right. Well, Emily, closing comments. Give us your 30-second or 1-minute closing comment.
Oh, I just thank you, everyone. And Carlos, this was a great webinar to be a part of. So thank you for having us.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure. And by the way, if you're wondering, we are now a partner with Isolocity. So if you are in the market for, again, a more automatic QMS and integrating your training and your Kappa and again, even your Lean Six Sigma initiative, all right, give us a call or give Emily a call, and we'll do a demo for you. And of course, there's no obligation, but again, we are now offering that because again, as we take a look at different tools that are going to make not only employees' jobs better, but again, going to make our clients, going to make you more competitive and more successful and profitable, right? Thriving in today's economy, then that's what we want to help you with. So please, tell a friend, give us your comments back on today's webinar. We hope that you loved it. I tried to load as much information for you as possible during this time. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. And we'll see you on Gemba. Have a good day, everybody. Emily, thanks again. This is fun.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a
All
good day,
right.
everyone.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.